For information and entertainment, stay tuned to iRadio, your eye on South Sudan.
Sounds of the Week on iRadio.
The agreement is the only way that will just help South Sudanese in the country. The compromise peace agreement became revitalized, and it is now called Roadmap 2. Now we don't know exactly where it is, and we are now in June. According to the agreement of Roadmap Part 2, is talking about the election of 2026. But the process of the agreement is not known. Even the Tumaini agreement is not known where it is. Now what we do see is only reshuffling of the people. Those are being relieved and some are being appointed. And people talk about election, and we don't even see the political parties moving from state to state, talking about election. We don't even see civic education. There is no peace and reconciliation. So we don't know exactly the life of the agreement, where it is. Because the only way that can rescue the situation of South Sudanese is on election. So that we elected those who will represent us, and then what is so-called transparency and accountability.
Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The Ministry of Roads and Bridges has announced plans to install 5 more way bridges across South Sudan to help protect roads from damage caused by overloaded trucks. Western Equatoria State Minister of Education says 2 teachers collapsed in the classroom due to hunger in Tombra County. And the United Nations mission in South Sudan has called on the country's new judiciary leadership to urgently send judges to underserved and conflict-affected areas, especially in Unity and Upper Nile states. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Baria Johnson, and now the news in detail. The Ministry of Roads and Bridges has announced plans to install 5 more way bridges across South Sudan to help protect roads from damage caused by overloaded trucks. A way bridge, also known as a truck scale, is a large platform used to measure the weight of a vehicle and its cargo. Currently, South Sudan has only one way bridge located at Nimule, the country's busiest entry point, where it helps to control the weight of trucks entering from neighboring countries. Speaking during a one-day workshop in Juba, Roads and Bridges Minister Simon Mijok Mijak said the government has already bought new equipment to install the way bridges.
This is number 1 way bridge. We still have 5. It's a long journey, as our technical have already shown us the modest way bridge was imported from Czech Republic, and they are ready to supply more as we continue our journey to build a modern system.
Vice President Taban Dengai, who spoke at the same workshop, said way bridges are important for protecting roads and are not meant to generate revenue. Vice President Taban, who heads the infrastructure cluster, says there is need for installation of a way bridge along the Juba-Bahr el Ghazal road. He says the condition of the highway is worrying.
Way bridges actually is a government work. It's not about bringing revenue. It's about protecting infrastructure in form of roads. But because the government could not finance way bridge and the road is being destroyed, and for your information, the reason I was with the minister, we took a journey from Juba up to Bahr el Ghazal, up to Bantu by roads. But the road to Bahr el Ghazal is under challenge. We need a way bridge very soon in that way. Because
Western Equatoria State Minister of Education says 2 teachers collapsed in the classroom due to hunger in Tombra County. Grace Apollo Musa says the incident happened on Monday at Renzi Primary School. According to the official, the 2 teachers, who are government employees, fainted midway through the lesson after reportedly going a full day without food. The minister says teachers in the state have not been paid salary for 1 year and 5 months. She says although the government recently started transferring their salaries, teachers have been unable to withdraw the money because local banks say they have no cash. She was speaking to the media from Yambio town in the following interview.
We had accident that took place a day before yesterday in Tombora, whereby 2 teachers were teaching in the class and they fell down conscious due to hunger problem. And it is true that our teachers are suffering. We can hear that money is there in the bank, but when you go to the bank manager will tell you there is no money in the bank. Teachers are human beings and they're using the image to cheat their force. But if they don't have anything to eat, especially in Tombora, whereby they don't have a way of getting access to get food, they depend on the small amount that they are receiving. Like now, teachers have gone over 1 year and 5 months without salary. How do you expect them to deliver the good services that we are asking them to do? As a minister, I tried my level best to see that money being released to teachers, but I cannot manage it. Every day I used to go to the bank and the bank manager is telling us there is no money. If you have like 100 in the bank, you cannot get it.
The United Nations mission in South Sudan has called on the country's new judiciary leadership to urgently send judges to the underserved and conflict-affected areas, especially Unity and Upper Nile states. Speaking at the reception ceremony for the new Chief Justice, Dr. Benjamin Bagdeng, and his deputy, Laku Tranquilo Nyombe, on Wednesday, and Miss Judicial Affairs Officer Samuel Wambugu said the absence of judges in these areas is affecting access to justice. He noted that Unity State has gone without a High Court judge for 13 years, a situation he says has contributed to overcrowding in prisons.
As UNMIS would like to really urge you, Your Lordship, to immediately think about deploying of judges, especially to areas where there is none. And I'll particularly mention states like Unity State, which for the last 13 years have never had a High Court judge. We also have Upper Nile in Malakal. We don't have judges. We hope that with your appointment, we'll be able to see immediate action on your part to be able to give confidence to the people of South Sudan in terms of bringing access closer to the people. The issue of overcrowding in our various prisons has been an ongoing issue and challenge across many facilities, and we are, as partners, we are standing together with your Lordship to be able to see how to be able to address the issue of pre-trial cases, the many people who have been awaiting trial for many months.
Dr. Catherine Maria, representative of the Max Planck Foundation for International Peace and the Rule of Law, says massive backlog of cases and a weakened traditional justice are key challenges affecting the judicial system. She calls on the judiciary to initiate reforms to address inefficiencies, arbitrary detentions, and limited access to courts, especially in remote areas.
The country's legal system is marked by a large backlog of cases, which is further compounded by a weakened traditional infrastructure, a result of years of conflict. The need to clear backlogs of cases and reduce delays in case processing. An effective justice system must be accessible in all its parts. Without this, the system risks losing its relevance to and the respect of the community it serves. That the focus of the judicial reform efforts should be on the institutions of the judiciary and the infrastructure that these institutions require for the effective delivery of justice.
In May 2025, civil society organizations in the state raised alarms about poor conditions at Malakal Central Prison, where many inmates are reportedly held without trial. The Secretary General of the Civil Society Network in Upper Nile, William McCall, said the previous judge left the past month for medical reasons and has not been replaced. You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News. The Secretary General of the United Nations has called for an end to the scourge of plastic pollution to build a better future for all. Antonio Guterres says plastic pollution is choking the planet, harming ecosystems, well-being and the climate. He says plastic waste clogs rivers, pollutes the ocean and endangers wildlife. According to Guterres, plastic pollution breaks down into smaller and smaller parts, filtering every corner of Earth, from the top of Mount Everest to the depth of the ocean, from human brains to human breast milk. He said yet there is a movement for urgent change. Guterres made the remarks on World Environment Day today.
We are seeing mounting public engagement, steps towards reusability and greater accountability, and policies to reduce single-use plastics and improve waste management. But we must go further, faster. In 2 months, countries will come together to hammer out a new global treaty to end plastic pollution. We need an ambitious, credible and just agreement this year, one that covers the life cycle of plastic through the perspective of circular economies, that responds to the needs of communities, that aligns with broader environmental goals, the Sustainable Development Goals and beyond, and that is implemented fast and in full. I urge negotiators to return to talks in August, determined to build a common path through their differences and deliver the treaty our world needs. Together, let's end the scourge of plastic pollution and build a better future for us all.
Led by the United Nations Environment Programme and held annually on 5th June since 1973, World Environment Day is the largest global platform for environmental public outreach. The event is celebrated by millions of people across the world, and in 2025 it is hosted by the Republic of Korea. According to the United Nations, globally an estimated 11 million tons of plastic waste leak into aquatic ecosystems each year. The UN says more than 800 marine and coastal species are affected by this pollution through ingestion, entanglement and other dangers. The body says more than 400 million tons of plastic is produced every year worldwide, half of which is designed to be used only once. The South Sudan Bar Association has appealed to the newly appointed Chief Justice to act on growing concerns of arbitrary arrest and detention of lawyers in the country. Advocate Arob Malweth says some judicial officers are misusing Section 70 of the Civil Procedure Act to harass and detain legal practitioners, especially at the county court level. Section 70 gives judges the power to sentence individuals up to 7 days for contempt of court or disrupting court proceedings. He says some judges are abusing this power by targeting lawyers without clear justification. He spoke to iRadio this morning.
It is now common, especially in the county court level. According to our law, Civil Procedure Act, Section 70 gives the court the authority and the power to control the courtroom and to clear the courtroom from anybody who is contravening with the orders of the court. And if that person refuses to comply with the orders of the court, that section also empowers the court to sentence that person to 7 days as a contempt of the court. This section is being misused by some of the judges. Now the judges of county courts, sometimes when the lawyers are conducting business before them and they are arguing the cases, the judges tend to use this section against the advocates by just sentencing them to 7 days that they have contempt the court. And sometimes they don't give a clear reason as to why the lawyer is being judged.
The advocate says the misuse of the law threatens the legal profession and the right to fair legal representation. He's now calling on the new Chief Justice to issue a judicial circular to prevent abuse of the contempt provision. He recommends that cases of lawyer misconduct be referred to the Advocate Disciplinary Committee instead.
because the lawyer should first be asked either to leave or to do a certain order, and then when he refuses, then he will be in contempt of the court. And we raise a lot of complaints about it. But this section, there is no control over it. We've been asking the former Chief Justice that we have now in place a disciplinary committee for advocates. If an advocate, the court thinks misbehave, he should refer him to the disciplinary committee, whereby he will be disciplined according to the law. Even his license can be suspended for a certain period. We are hoping that the new Chief Justice will issue a judicial circular. Court should not apply this section upon advocate, should be subjected to disciplinary measures, because even the advocate disciplinary committee is comprises of judge of a high court and a senior legal counsel and plus 2 senior advocates.
And finally, an education official in Central Equatorial State has raised concern over continued delays in the payment of teachers' salaries. Peter Lodu, the Director General at the State Ministry of Education and Instruction, says although salaries are announced, the money often does not reach the banks on time. Speaking on iRadio's Don't Show, Lodu said the ministry is struggling to pay teachers due to delays in cash disbursement.
We are trying our best to see that teachers get something, and everybody concerned should contribute in their own levels to see that teachers in that particular school are really working. In our ministry there, the teachers even know the effort that we are doing. Every morning we send cashiers to the bank. They come back around 4:30 without. In the morning also they go, every day they go. I don't know until when they will come with the money, but they have problem in the bank. Even yesterday we received a circular that the salary of May is out, but when they go to the bank, the central bank, they come back without money. So these are our difficulties. The government release in the papers, but cash, there is a problem in the bank. Let us just bear the situation, and we hope for the best. That thing may improve.
Lord also called on parents and guardians to support schools in any way they can to help improve the teaching environment. Meanwhile, the chairperson of the Teachers Union in the state, Emmanuel Lodi Stephen, says the salary delays are affecting teachers' morale and performance. He also appealed for a salary increment, saying the current pay cannot support teachers' basic needs.
لأن نصوبش جديد شديد حتى في المجتمعات والمراكز زي ما ظاهر لنا جنو لأن هسه مجتمع متمسي أو ممكن عندك في البيت زول عيان وشون ده له contribution وعندنا أنت ما قد يكون سالاري وسالاري كم ما جا بيجي أصلا زاد بكون لك أنت زاد عندك بكون أنت بقى تزول ضعيف لكن ما بيتمنى يعني الناس الفوق ده كل ما نحاول لأن أبوه في بيت ذاته كان أنا يلقيني جان لازم بيجري كده بيصرف سنة كيف كده يا لك راكل عشان كده أنا هنا معلمين ناس أنا قاعد نشتغل ده بروح الوطنيه لان كان نشتغل بظروف حتى حسب تلقى استاذ ما مر بيجي عيان لكن بيجي يودي اللي انا حاجه بقى في الدم بتوعه بدريزه ده ممكن التاثير باسر لنا شديد بصراحه يعني حتى هسه احنا لقينا الورق جاء على قروش السعر 3 نزل لا القروش السعر 4 ذاته كويس هسه حاليا قروش السعر 5 نزل لكن يعني في الواقع ما في انا هسه استاذ مانويل في جريد 5 يعني انا بشرف 128 ما بيسوي لها اي حاجه يعني ممكن يجيبوا فهم حاجه بسيط كده وخلاص لكن طبعا ده بيجي ناس بيجي عادي ناس قاعد يعيش بإرادة الله.
Teachers across the state say they are left to survive through faith and nationalism as they continue to report to duty despite the difficult conditions. You are listening to iRadio Afternoon News, and now for the regional and international news, we are joined by my colleague Madrama James.
Donald Trump has signed a ban on travel to the U.S. from 12 countries, including Afghanistan, Haiti, and Iran, in a bid to protect Americans from dangerous foreign actors. From Monday, citizens from 12 countries, Afghanistan, Myanmar, Chad, Congo-Brazzaville, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Haiti, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen will be banned from traveling to the U.S. Those from other 7 countries, Burundi, Cuba, Laos, Sierra Leone, Togo, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela will be subject to a partial ban. For most countries included on the list, the White House cites a mixture of visa overstay rates and political instability. Elsewhere, the Congolese government has banned the media from reporting on the activities of former President Joseph Kabila and interviewing members of his party. This comes after Kabila returned to the Democratic Republic of Congo last month amidst heightened tensions between himself and the government led by his successor, President Felix Tshisekedi. The authorities are pushing to persecute Mr. Kabila amidst accusation of treason and alleged links to the M23 rebels which have been fighting the army, something he has previously denied. Finally, New Zealand's parliament have voted to suspend 3 Maori MPs for their protest hackered during a sitting last year. Opposition MP Hannah Roheti Moipi Clark, who started the traditional dance after being asked if Maori party supported a controversial bill, has received a 7-day ban. The party's co-leader Rawiri Watiti and Debbie Naurawaka Parker have been banned for 21 days.
Thank you, Madrama James. And now to the sports news with Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
The South Sudan's bright starlet head coach Simon James Yor has announced his provisional squad of 30 players for the upcoming CECAFA 2025 Women's Senior Championship in Tanzania. The team is set to begin official training today at Juba National Stadium. The CECAFA Women's Senior Championship is set for a highly anticipated return this month after a 3-year absence from the regional football calendar. The tournament will run from June 12 to 22nd, 2025 in Dar es Salaam. The last edition was held in Uganda in 2022, where the Uganda Crested Cranes clinched the title with a 3-1 win over Burundi. This year's revival comes at a strategic time, just weeks before the CAF Women's Africa Cup of Nations kicks off. Portugal claimed a narrow but vital 2-1 victory over Germany in a tightly contested international fixture that kept fans on edge until the final whistle. The match showcased Portugal's resilience and tactical discipline as they held off a determined German side to secure all 3 points. The game began with high intensity as both teams pushed forward looking to seize early control. Portugal struck first with a well-executed goal, capitalizing on a defensive lapse to take the lead midway through the first half. Germany responded with composure, gradually building pressure until they found the equalizer just before half-time. However, it was Portugal who once again found the breakthrough, scoring a decisive second goal after a quick counter-attack that caught the German backline off guard. And finally, in basketball, next year's NBA All-Star Game will feature some forms of a USA team against the rest of the world. The game will take place on 16 February during the 2026 Winter Olympics, which are being broadcast in the United States by NBC. NBC has regained the rights to show the NBA All-Star Game in the US, which will be switched to an afternoon start, with Winter Olympic events being broadcast before and after. A lot of attention to what the NHL did in February, hosting the 4 nations face-off instead of an all-star game. The 7-game tournament featured only NHL players representing the USA, Canada, Finland and Sweden, and Silver noted it was a huge success. That's all from the world of sports, and back to you, Barry Johnson.
Thank you, Akile. This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here are the headlines once again. The Ministry of Roads and Bridges has announced plans to install 5 more way bridges across South Sudan to help protect roads from damage caused by overloaded trucks. Western Equatoria State Minister of Education says 2 teachers collapsed in the classroom due to hunger in Tombra County. And the United Nations mission in South Sudan has called on the country's new judiciary leadership to urgently send judges to underserved and conflict-affected areas, especially Unity and Upper Nile states. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you would like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 925 287870. It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I am Baria Johnson. Thanks for listening.